Welcome back to another episode of the Clear Skin Podcast. I'm your host, Delia, and I'm back again with Nikki and Amelia from Clear Skin Solutions. And we have an extra special guest joining us today. We've got Cassie here, also from Clear Skin Solutions. And today we want to dive into the cutting edge world of body and face contouring. And we're focusing today on our machines that we love, EmSculpt and EmFace. So I just want to give Cassie a little introduction, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does at Clear Skin Solutions, and then we're going to dive into our body contouring topic for today. So hi, Cassie. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Actually, I've already met you, but for everybody else listening.
I'm Cassie. I am a physician assistant. I am the injector here at Clear Skin Solutions. So I inject obviously Botox and fillers and other neuromodulators. I also am certified to do PDO threads, and I use all types of fillers. Have about 22 years experience as a PA and about 8 of that in aesthetics.
Awesome. Well, I've seen a lot of your work and it is beautiful work. So you're in good hands with Cassie. And so we're going to talk about our body sculpting, body contouring, and face sculpting that we use at Clear Skin Solutions. So let's talk a little bit, share with our listeners. Let's give them a little bit of an overview about what EmSculpt and EmFace are. And I know that there's other traditional body and face contouring methods out there. So Amelia, maybe you could share with us how they differ from these other traditional methods that a lot of people have heard about.
So the owners of the EmSculpt and EmFace, they are BTL, and BTL, they make their own devices, which is pretty extraordinary. Typically, when you have certain devices, they're bought from like one major company, and everybody is essentially just kind of putting their names on them.
Right.
And so BTL is producing their own devices, and they have lots of them. And they're also doing their own third-party testing. So it's not their own testing, but they're doing third-party testing, which essentially means that they're having people who are not paid by them doing the testing on their devices. So it kind of shows how amazing of a company that they are, that they've gotten as far as they have. They're also one of the only FDA approved devices for fat reduction, so cell death, as well as creating muscles and building muscles. So when I say creating muscles, in human history, we've never found a machine that builds new muscle fibers. And so this is amazing for not only cosmetic things, but it's working for people who are going through physical therapy or are just not able to work certain muscles, whether or not they've been damaged or they have cognitive issues preventing these things. And when we're able to build muscles, we're able to do a lot of things such as prolong life. When we can create balance and make it so that we're not like falling as we get older, having those abdominal muscles strengthened and being able to utilize our legs. These are huge things for humans.
Yeah, not just from, a cosmetic perspective, but also from a health perspective as well, too. So that's awesome. So, how do these treatments both work on the body and the face to get the results that people are achieving? So we're building the muscle back, right? So people have a lot of facial muscle loss, body muscle loss.
Using a radio frequency, that the EmSculpt uses a different type, or it's not a different type, but it's not hitting the same amount of heat. So on the face, we're always trying to keep our fat. And so
Yes,
a lot of times, like you'll find like different things where people are looking to kind of get rid of the fat on their faces. But as we get older, that's something that we really need. So when you're young, you're like, okay, I really want to have a chiseled, sculptured face. But as we get older, we really need that fat there so that we have a youthful appearance. So when we're working with radio frequency on the face, we're only hitting a temperature that's allowing for collagen induction. And collagen induction is great, especially on the face, because we're allowing the skin elasticity to lift. And when we're working on the muscles, which it's called HIFEs or HIFEM, which is electromagnetic waves. And when it's working on the muscles of the face, it's working on our elevator muscles. And our elevator muscles, as we get older, tend to kind of not have as much strength to pull everything up. So our elevator muscles, we have them in our cheeks and in our forehead that run up into our scalp. And when we're able to build the muscle, we can allow it not to work as hard so that we can lift. And then the collagen induction is working for the skin. So we're getting that elasticity back, helping with pore size, helping with wrinkles, and all of that good stuff that we're all trying to help with as we get older.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. I guess I'm curious, as so people who are trying to lose weight, they're losing that fat in their face, right? And in their body as well. So I find like a lot of people who are interested in body contouring, you know, they wonder about the effectiveness of the muscle, like people who are taking Ozempic, for example. It creates muscle loss, does it not?
Absolutely.
So,
And also, when you have the muscle loss on the body, we get that sagging skin.
right, right. That was what I was getting at. So, okay, so we're trying to kind of reshape our face and our body, but at the same time, we still need to keep that structural foundation there, right?
And a really cool thing about EmSculpt that I think a lot of people won't realize, because when, as women, we're always looking at the number on the scale, but when you're building muscle and also reducing fat, so it's hitting that temperature where it's helping with the cell death, and our body doesn't know the difference between this type of cell death and working out. So you're actually losing fat the same way that you would by going to the gym, which it's the equivalent of about 20 to 30,000 sit-ups if you're doing it on your abs. But a lot of times the scale won't change, because as we're building muscle and getting rid of the bad kind of fat, which is the fat around our organs,
Right.
that cause lots of issues as we get older, like diabetes and organ failure and heart disease and all of these things.
Fatty liver disease.
Yeah. So our weight will stay the same because we're building the muscle and getting rid of the fat, but you'll see huge changes in the way that the body looks. So we're noticing lifting and tightness and all these really awesome things, but people are staying around the same weight or just losing a little bit, but it's because they're losing fat and not muscle, which is what we need.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. So the EmSculpt can be a non-invasive solution to rebuild that, you know, those muscle groups, right? Now, can we shift just a little bit here to facial treatment? So tell us about EmFace. How does that contribute to the facial rejuvenation? I guess similarly to what we just talked about in terms of the body, right?
Yes, it absolutely does this similar. Again, we talked about the RF being at a different temperature so that we're not losing that fat. We don't want to lose fat in the face. But the EmFace is going to take those muscles, primarily the three muscles. You have three that run in this direction. When they start to sag, like a hammock would sag, they're sagging like this. Then we start to fall, we start to get jowls, our cheeks lose that youthful appearance. And so when you're using the high-fest technology with the or high-fem technology with the EmFace, then you're tightening those muscles. So if you tighten those muscles, you're not sagging anymore. You're bringing it back up to just like a brand new hammock would be. You know, it's tight, it's pulled tight, it's not saggy. Same thing happens. We get cheeks again. We lose a lot of the jowls in this area. It improves the overall look of the face, as well as tightening of the skin because of the RF technology.
And this is the only thing that's ever done this before. We've never been able to work the muscles of the face before this.
No.
So there's nothing else out there that can do this. It's the EmFace and the EmSculpt that has that capabilities.
Correct.
It took them 7 years, if I'm correct, to even bring it to testing, right? So they really got it right.
And you guys have seen some incredible results with your clients. I've seen some amazing before and after pictures, and I know that you know, you incorporate your EmFace and your EmSculpt with other treatments that you do, because we all know that you guys love the full pan face approach. So it's not just one treatment that's kind of doing it. We like to layer them up. So Cassie, because you're the injectable queen, let's talk about the injectables and how EmFace can support those outcomes.
So one thing that we're seeing is less need of the neuromodulators in the forehead area, especially because that muscle is now being suspended. It's suspending everything much better. It's tight, it's taut, it's lifting, it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Right.
So we're seeing less of a need for the neuromodulators in the forehead area. We, in combination, are doing less of the fillers in the cheeks, but I'm trying to use more the Radius brand and the EmSculpt brand, or not EmSculpt, sorry, Sculpture brand, which are collagen inducing fillers as well, so that we are hitting that collagen induction from every angle, which is what we like to do. Hit it from every angle. That's our whole approach. So we're still supporting the areas that need to be supported. If we do EmFace and you still need a little support in the cheek, then we can go in with fillers and add that support. But I do recommend starting with that. And then from there, you definitely do need to be on the skincare program, because that's going to minimize the appearance of wrinkles. It's going to minimize the appearance. The texture is going to be improved. Everything, that's our approach.
Yeah.
You have to do all the things, as we say.
Piggyback on all of our treatments so that we can maximize those results. Aside from injectables, we also have HIFU that we can add, microneedling, and then we've got RF microneedling for the body. So how do those all play a role?
So HIFU is high intensity frequency ultrasound. And it's essentially like microneedling on a deeper level. We can do it like, I think up to 10 millimeters deep inside the skin. And what collagen induction does, like microneedling, is it causes just enough damage that your body sends all of your good cells to the area to help you repair, but not enough damage that you have like even scabs or scarring or anything like that. So it sends all of the good stuff to the area, and it's cell to cell memory. So it's teaching all of the cells around it how to act like brand new cells again, because they're just damaged enough that they're trying to repair, but not enough that they actually have to. So they're like firing up and telling all the cells around it to act happy and young. So when you have microneedling, that's on the surface of the skin. So you're getting that collagen induction on the surface. When you have HIFU, that frequency ultrasound is going deep inside the skin and doing the exact same thing, but on a deeper level. And it's very focused and intentional. So we do it based on what we're trying to achieve in the moment. So anywhere from 1.5 millimeters to 10 millimeters deep. And then when you have like HIFU, microneedling, radio frequency microneedling, which is really great for fat reduction as well. So that's using a heat as well as the needles for the collagen induction therapy. And then you have EmFace or EmSculpt that's going in and building the muscles. And in the case of EmSculpt, helping with fat reduction. So when you have all of these things, they're kind of like the queens of body contouring. And although they all work amazing alone, they work even better all together.
Yeah. Well, I think Cassie, you had said something to me just before we started the podcast about EmFace being kind of the infrastructure. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, if you go in and you're going to build a structure of any kind, you start with the building blocks that are going to hold things in place, and they're going to make sure it doesn't fall. That is exactly what EmFace does. It goes in and works on the building blocks. And that's the muscle. It tightens the muscle and creates the lift that we tend to lose as we age.
When you even think about people that decide plastic surgeries for them, even those people come out looking better because we've created that structure instead of just it's
so if we can treat those clients before their procedure, then they've built that muscle before the procedure, so they get even better results after having some sort of plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery.
Well, arms, we've seen it with arms, we've seen it with stomach, we've seen it with face. Yeah, and I'm sure it would be true with butt too.
It probably would. It would, yeah.
Oh, just give me all of it.
That's my next one, a butt lift.
Because to remember, this is a non-invasive procedure, but is not a replacement for plastic surgery.
No.
So in some cases, you are going to find someone who still needs to get a facelift or a mini lift, or is going to have to remove their excess skin
Mhm.
to achieve the look that they're trying to achieve. Because unfortunately, even with the best collagen induction, if you have a lot of extra skin, it's just not going to completely get rid of that.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. Is there any side effects that can be expected? What are the potential side effects? Is there any downtime? People always want to know, can they resume their activities after treatment like this?
So there's not actually any downtime associated with these. You can come in for 30-minute session on your lunch hour and go right back to work, and no one will be the wiser that you've had it done. And you'll feel great. People do with the EmSculpt Neo, they do talk about some muscle soreness, like they have worked out. Some people have it, some people don't. And I think that both of those clients are getting benefits. It's just a difference in the way their body reacts. And then some people also talk about muscle fatigue the day of, just like you have worked out.
Right.
Myself, that is something that I have experienced with the EmSculpt Neo, is feeling that muscle fatigue. And I didn't have a lot of soreness the day after, but by the third day, that's when I started to experience the soreness.
Yeah.
So what's the similarity between, like, what would it be like getting an EmSculpt or an EmFace treatment versus going to the gym? It'd be like 10 workouts in one session, or
one of these gals can answer after, but one of the things that I can't do very much in the gym because I have some issues. So I couldn't really ever work on my core because then I wouldn't be able to walk the next day.
Right.
So now I can work on my core.
Right.
Now I can work on my core, and my sciatic has calmed down, and I can do more things without ending up in bed because I can't move. So it's really given me some freedom that I didn't have before.
That's great. So you've kind of swapped out that piece of the gym with your EmSculpt treatments, and it's giving you those results, and then some, because you're able to resume, normal activities. Okay, I wanted to know, one of the questions everybody's going to ask is, how many treatments do you need in order to see results? Now, again, I know we're talking about layering, different types of treatments, but when you're maybe just with the EmSculpt or the EmFace, how many results or how many treatments would you need to see results?
It still goes back to the same thing that we talk about with the cells, with microneedling. So everybody's different. And there comes a point with somebody with microneedling that they start seeing their pores again at 3 months, 4 months, right? Like they start seeing that it's time. And then there are some people that every 2 years. So you can't really have an answer like that. For myself, I'm about at a 3-month mark where I need another EmSculpt. My lower back will start hurting and I'll start feeling uncomfortable.
The base recommendation is once a week for 4 weeks at minimum.
Okay.
Some people end up needing more, kind of just depending on what their goals are. Each treatment is the equivalent, like I was saying before, when doing the abs, of 20 to 30,000 sit-ups, which I don't know about you, but I'm pregnant right now, but typically maybe do like 50 or 100 in total a week. I don't know. I definitely can't do that many.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to. So this is, a great alternative. If you, like, you don't have to imagine the amount of time that you can save. Going to the gym is still healthy. Don't get me wrong. We still need our cardio and all that. But when we're working, I think and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but on some of those stubborn areas, maybe where we've gotten to a certain point at the gym, and then we're kind of at a plateau, right? Is EmSculpt good for getting us past that point?
Yes, it's going to create firing of the muscle tissue that we didn't have, that you cannot achieve with working out at the gym. And we should mention, we've talked a lot about the abdomen, treating that area, but we can treat the thighs, we can treat the butt, we can treat inner outer thighs, we can treat arms, both biceps and triceps, and
calves.
Calves. So it's not just limited to a couple of areas that you can treat. And we are seeing, like Nikki talked about, improvement of pain for people who are using the abdomen. They're getting improvement of pain in their back, and to me, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's not cosmetic, that's therapeutic. And that is, if you minimize someone's pain, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that started for me when I was 17 years old. So this has been amazing for me.
Awesome. Now, is there anybody who can't get these treatments done? Is there, who are the best candidates?
So there are contraindications. Some of them are like different autoimmune diseases may have certain issues around it. We're finding that if you can do smaller treatments and kind of gauge someone's pain level and see how they're doing with the treatment, we may be able to move around some things. Something also to remember is that these are magnets. So it's basically a giant magnet. And so metal inside the body can also be a contraindication. The best candidate for doing EmSculpt or EmFace is someone who already has a clean diet, is drinking lots of water for good collagen induction, already has a healthy lifestyle, is used to going to the gym.
You have to have lower of
Adjunct
30% BMI.
Okay.
30, a
30
BMI of 30 or
or
less.
less.
Mhm.
Yeah.
BMI of 30 or
See,
less.
yeah.
And they recommend the initial 4 treatments. But we have, for instance, going back with the EmFace, we have a client who is in her 80s that now doesn't have jowls. She didn't realize that until her sister told me she didn't have jowls anymore. And then her sister told her she didn't have jowls anymore. But she's super excited. Now she's like, okay, I'll be coming in to get it done.
Well,
It took 8 treatments for her, but she's 80. So, you
Yep.
know, we had a long time to build those muscles back.
right.
You have to consider that depending on where you're at. And the same thing I think would be true of the EmSculpt Neo. If you are not doing any sort of exercise, then you're probably not going to get the results that they're showing.
Well, it's still underneath all of that.
It's still underneath everything. So
still building it,
but
yeah,
you just have to understand that you're still building some muscle, but you're not going to look 20 again if you're not doing any other form.
Right. I know. I remember I worked out with a trainer for a year, and yes, you know, it was all building all underneath, but I wasn't changing anything in my lifestyle. So I wasn't changing my diet or anything like that. And I was getting stronger, and I was obviously building muscles, and I was getting healthier, but I couldn't see it because it was underneath all my fat. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
same thing. And then, you know, I'm kind of just thinking about what you said about your client who was 80, and we can kind of predict through our, you know, parents or mothers, maybe what those jowls are going to look like. And while my mother has a beautiful face, I'm noticing that she's got some jowls. So I'm thinking that might be me, you know, down the road, because I will likely inherit that look. So this would be a great treatment for building that up, and obviously minimizing you know, what that could potentially look like if without the treatments, right?
And she didn't even realize, the 80-year-old that we're talking about, that she had a reduction in her jowls. And the interesting thing, and why we love doing before and after pictures, is when we see ourselves every day, we really don't notice differences. And because this happens over time, as we're eating healthy and drinking lots of water, we continue to build those muscles. People don't notice it because it's not like a day and night, like you just wake up the next day and now you look like, you know, no jowls and less lines on your forehead, and you've got all these great things going on, but other people are going to notice.
Yes.
Before and afters we can show right side by side, and there's no denying that.
No, there's
So
no denying it.
he takes us to the other conversation about a lot of us were starting to get the pillow face before EmSculpt, before EmFace, because we were trying to lift up and we didn't have EmFace to be able to
lift those muscles. So what we were doing is essentially we were adding more filler and adding more filler and adding more filler so we could get this lift,
yes,
and not have jowls. But unfortunately, then that was giving us this over puffy face look, which I'm sure all of us have seen pictures of people that have that, and a few famous people that have that. So it is achieving that lift without creating that puffiness.
We're in the era of natural.
Yes, we're. I've been in the era of natural.
Yeah, that's why I started laughing.
Kathy's
like,
But yeah, because I would tell people no, including Nikki or
people.
anybody else. Nikki,
I don't know who
included.
she's talking
Yeah.
about.
I would tell them, no, we're not adding any more to your face because
Right.
you're going to get too puffy. And so,
Okay, that was great info, ladies. Thank you so much, Cassie, for joining us today. And if you are interested in looking into our EmSculpt and EmFace treatments, you can reach out to us at info@clearskinsolutions.com. We'd be happy to book in a consultation. Now, Cassie, is a consultation required first to kind of get an idea of what's needed, or can they just book an appointment for their EmSculpt?
I recommend a consultation appointment with any of us to start with. That way we can go over everything. We can look at everything. Do we need to address skin? Do we need to address, are we going to need fillers or neuromodulators? Or is the EmSculpt and EmFace going to be what is needed? So yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And our consultation for free. Come see me. I don't charge for consultation. Come see me. We'll go over everything.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, thank you, ladies, for all the info today. I can't wait to get an EmSculpt treatment. I'm going to have to fly out there. So I'll see you in a few hours. Kidding. All right. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you like and follow so that you never miss another episode of the Clear Skin Podcast. And we will be back again next month with another episode of Everything Skin. So have a great day and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you. Bye.